Team meetings need to be modified based on what they're at right now. Need to be more effective in identifying what projects we're working on and how they're reported on. The number one thing that I want to convey is that meetings are for documentation and consensus of the agreed conclusion of an action item that have already been discussed before getting to the team meeting. The major team meeting, actually there's two separate team meetings that should occur. The first team meeting or major team meeting that involves Cliff identifies major projects, major undertakings that the team is in the process of accomplishing. Those meetings can be limited to once a month or once every 3 weeks to include Cliff and the major components of the team. That includes people from Cliff's organizations such as Frank Perchi, Clark Hamaker, the Mini-DIN team, components or support people of Mini-DIN that are not part of the immediate team, such as support of maintenance and or quality. Need to determine all the components of the people that need to be involved in those team meetings. The other portion of the team meetings are team meetings that involve the core team. That would be the people that participate right on the floor. The core teams. That kind of team can also be limited in its discussion of action items. That can be a quick review of where you're at or where you've been, but I want the primary focus to be on where we're going, what it is that we need to accomplish, our goals for that particular week. I need to take a look at the staff, Mini-DIN staff meeting and see if that could not be incorporated into the weekly meeting. Rather than having a staff meeting and a core team meeting, they could be enveloped into one. The third team, or the additional meeting that is being observed, is the quality meeting, and that also needs to be modified, also with other the number of people that are in that meeting. Now that's Tott's meeting, and I can only make suggestions to him as to what I would see for his outlining of that product or that team structure in order to be more effective in their meetings. Submission for the dielectric test and for the thermal cycling test. Unfortunately, they have no seals and or double lock plates. We are going to have to make a production run on the 6th position in order to be able to provide assemblable product that's of the vintage past the product failures that we were having. I don't know whether we're in that position or not. Need to place orders with Nuco Industries in order to be able to do the dielectric test, which requires 2 of the circuits to be 6-inch double-ended crimped looped wire, 20 and 18 gauge, split over a total of 32 samples, and on the end circuits they need to be 2-foot wires in with double-ended to loop from connector to connector to go for a series circuit. Thermal cycling also has to have, I believe, just double-ended wires. I believe that is for 16 samples of each, or 16 samples total, with the double-ended wire crimps. That's on 18 and 20 gauge wires split over that 16 population in order to verify the 20 and 16 product tests. Need to identify that the John Tudman memo that was on my desk didn't end up going out or being shipped out to him. If you could please take care of dropping that into the mail to AMP Germany. One position situation on the failures with Fasco is that silicone has caused a problem in their product. Silicone has been seen. Conversations with Keith Denlinger have identified that chances are that silicone is not the culprit in this situation, and that we need to get samples in order for any effort to be understood and or agreed to. Tim Coates and I left a message to Mike Gusta at Ford. He was not available, so we left a message that identified the discussion that I had with Keith Denlinger, and that failures need to be further investigated for more than just silicone. They should look for organic compounds that may have caused the problem, and that the only way that the silicone could have caused the problem is that if it had been induced or introduced into a switching mechanism that was arcing open in the sensor that would generate temperatures in excess of 1,000 degrees to convert the silicone oil into silicate, which is glass, which would be an insulator, if it were in the interface. Our interface normal force is well beyond what would be necessary to prevent silicone getting in there and causing it to be a failed part. Need to leave a message for Keith Denlinger. Did not end up getting an opportunity to talk to Ed Bach, in that it would seem realistic to me to be able to, for silicone oil, because it's such a highly migrative substance, to be able to get into the interface. Whether or not it could be generating the temperatures necessary to convert it into glass or not, that's another thing altogether. But just something to discuss with Ed Bach. Also need to try and get in touch with Steve Johnson to be able to try and get sensor assemblies that do not have the bulb. I've got a package of 150 underneath my desk on the right hand side that will represents full assemblies from the sensor people, or from Ford, that would or that have the bulb. God damn it. Program. Need to identify that order for Dave on the 1,000 pieces for AMP Germany. Had indicated I had 800 to Jürgen Lieby that I would send out immediately, but I don't have any paperwork to send it out on. One of the orders that you may be getting, Dave, from the international division maybe 800 or 1,000 pieces from AMP Germany. Also wanted to warn against AFL. They came at me twice with going to be shut down scenarios. One value meeting their requirement, the other value, I think they were the next in line to get that, but I think the one that went out today was a push, and assembly. There are other customers that we have to be supplying the 6th position with also. Identified to Dave that he had no bill number. I don't want to end up being charged for the return trip by the Quick Trip. It was an unfortunate mistake on my part. I didn't react to scheduling the second half of the day shipment with the guy that was on duty, I guess. Tell Dave not to wait on the samples of the one position with the round or the rectangular seal as opposed to the round seal. I also want to get some rectangular ones up for testing. If you could get me 175 of those, Dave, that'd be great. Also need 175 of the I also want to get some of the assemblies with the round seal. Dave, maybe you can just leave me what bag is on there on your desk and replace them out with square seals, but I'll use those for test also. Radio and power. When ordering contacts, also get 2-foot wires, one ended crimped. The packages for Dave. They are the 6th position drop testing results. That information needs to go to Lenny Pavone and give a copy to Nick also. Need to identify the sensor people for 12th position. Determine if the mating face shutoff is going to cause a problem with stubbing on a pin. The message for Fred Bolick to try and arrange for that answer with assistance from John. Identify to Dave that I didn't get a chance to 2 from Ford. Requirements are as follows. Design of the shielding portion of the connectors to be supplied by the supplier and referred to the attached connector drawings F2RF-14A624-BA, F2DF-14A624-DA, and also for detailed information as called out on drawing F3RF-14A624-AA1. Timings and events are as follow. Connector concept agreement to be by 5/28/1990. The connector design is to be completed by the July 13th. Prototype tooling and parts are required at Altec on September 28th, 1990. That gives us approximately 4 months. Quantity requirements are 150 pieces of E3RF-14A624-AA1 by 5. This is 5/7. Blueprint dated 5/7/90. That would please indicate prototype tooling manufacturing location, as well as please attach prototype tooling detail and program timing detail meets program MRD at LTAC of 928. Engineering contact is Jim Labadie. Also looking for production requirements or costing for 1993, 350,000 pieces, 94, 1.28, and 95, 1.31. Those are millions. Also, the
connector assemblies for the same quantities. The wiring harness assembly part numbers are 1-5204559-3 and 1-5204222-3. Those part numbers correspond to side entry receptacles and top entry receptacles that have a panel ground. The side entry receptacles are for panel and PC board ground. They're to accept the SDL contact plugs. This doesn't make sense. Unless, of course, they're going to be putting these on their board products. Need determination of that. The RFQs call out for a prototype product, production product of the existing or the revamped PAC radio, and the receptacle connectors with no plug cable request for quote information, although I do have drawings for that information. The 1-5204222-3 is an 8 circuit. And the 5204591-3 is also an 8 circuit side entry PC board ground. Proposal request 242036 does identify the requirement to go from the existing the EAO PAC radio to amplifier EAO PAC radio to amp graphic equalizer compact disc. That would identify the 16 and the 2 8-ways, as well as 2 8-ways to each other. Also identifies the drawings XF-289958 and 62. The 289962 being the 16 split into 2 8s, and the 289958 2 8s connected together. We need to determine that the 2 plug cable assemblies and the receptacles would be supplied by Intercom directly to Ford and not interfere and or include automotive consumer business. Reduction of height in the overall connector is going to compromise the distance between the tip of the pins to the top of the housing and the tip of the blades to the top of the housings. Also have to take into consideration the height of the choke. Will it fit within the confines of the connector? Four main concepts to provide the SDL interface on the PAC radio connector. The first is to provide ample space for the standard receptacle product to be inserted into the SDL area. The main housing that is cored out for that specific purpose. The next would be to modify an existing standard receptacle. The third would to be load a receptacle into the standard product or standard header. No standard product, sorry. The main housing. The fourth would be to actually insert contacts and form into position integral to the housing. The vibration requirements of the SDL
to see if they fall in line with what would be standard for the automotive industry.